Hello everyone, this is Sam Hill, Career Change Guru, and this week we have an amazing entrepreneur kicking us off during this special series, Brandi Haynes. She is an influencer, a non-for-profit exec, and a fellow guru on the content creation. I can't wait for you to see her story. Now let's get to it. This is how I came up.
So my name is Brandi Haynes, and I am originally from Birmingham, Alabama, but I was raised in Buffalo, New York. So as far as my childhood, I lived in Birmingham until I was about maybe 3, and then I moved to Buffalo. I lived everywhere, probably almost on the east side and the west side. I grew up originally in Cold Spring. I lived on the west side in Shoreline. I lived in the Fruit Belt, and also like 6 Deuce Bailey area. So growing up, I attended Frederick Law Olmsted from kindergarten to 8th grade in the Gifted and Talented program. And then for high school, I attended Hutch Tech for architectural technology. So growing up, I had a pretty normal childhood for the most part. I, as I said, attended Gifted and Talented school. So I didn't attend like my neighborhood school. I had a really diverse group of friends. When I got to about 10th grade, my parents developed an addiction, and that definitely disrupted my life a little bit. My parents were working addicts, meaning that they went to work every day. They paid most of the bills, and then basically they used the rest of their money to feed their addiction. Luckily, when I was in high school, I started interning at WBLK once I graduated from 8th grade, like the summer going into 9th grade. And I actually interned and then worked at BLK for 10 years. I think that was like a very critical point in my adolescence. It kept me out of trouble. I was busy every day after school and on weekends. And that experience really molded me into becoming responsible, being really serious about going to college, and creating a future for myself. So that was my childhood. So like growing up, I probably had, maybe 2 mentors. My first and foremost mentor since I was about 13, Catherine Roberts was my boss in radio. She was the promotions director for WBLK. And she, basically taught me everything, work, life, all that good stuff. And then one of my other mentors, Skip Dillard from WBLS, he was our former program director for WBLK. And Skip's just, a really great music and marketing mind, and a really positive and supportive person as well. So yeah. So once I graduated high school, I went down south and attended Alabama State University in Montgomery, Alabama. My major was electrical engineering with a minor in math. Black college is an amazing experience. I literally was just determined to, go to a Black college. I was like obsessed with Different World and that whole thing, school days. So I wanted that experience for myself. And I also wanted to go to school out of state, which looking back might not have been the best idea, but it was worth the experience. The only reason I'd say that attending out of state school might not have been the best move is basically because I paid a lot of out of state fees. So when you go to school out of state, especially Black college, you literally pay double the amount of tuition and fees that other people pay. So looking back, I'm still paying one of my student loans. So that's really the only downside.
I'm joined by Benny the Butcher.
This is D from the Projects.
Rick G.
Dr. Kelly Lucci.
Hey, what's up, Mr. D. Wilson?
It's Michelle Visa.
Anri Star Muhammad.
TJ Iceberg.
This is how I came up.
This is how I came up.
And this is how I came up.
How you doing? My name is Sam Hill, host of How I Came Up. Do you have a success story that you would like to share with the world? If so, please go to ScoMoveTV.com and submit that story. And just maybe we'll allow you to share that story with the rest of the world.
All right, so here's a little rundown on how I got basically where I am today. After college and I moved back to Buffalo, I continued working at WBLK. And how I actually left radio was I ran away with the circus. So I joined Universal Circus, and that's how I left my radio job. So I went on tour as a showgirl, riding elephants and doing magic and dancing Caribbean 10 months out of the year. And then when I hung up my circus costume, I started doing freelance PR. I had a lot of friends who were DJs and rappers, and they had become like kind of internationally known or nationally known. They wanted to be known on a larger scale. I had a long list of contacts and I had a background in marketing from radio. So I started doing freelance PR. I did that for quite a number of years until I felt like growing up. And then eventually I joined the Community Action Organization of Western New York, I believe in 2010. And I've been there ever since. I came there originally as a program manager for 1 year to manage a program under that was funded under Obama's ARA programs. So it was basically programs that had millions of dollars in grant funding to generate higher employment rates. So I ran that program for a year. Our former CEO, Mr. Hare, asked me, well, what do you want to do when the year is up? You can't leave the CAO. And so I came up with a proposal to create the Emergency Services Department. And so after my year was up, I moved on to be the director of that department. And then later, my division was expanded into the Emergency and Family Services Department, which included another division. And then most recently, back in June, I got promoted to Vice President of Adult Services, and I now manage 5 departments under my division.
Okay, yes, Beyonce is the queen. She is the effing queen. I swear to God, best concert of the year, best concert tour. You. Oh my God, I swear to God. You're the one I love. Beyonce, bow down.
So as far as influencing, I originally started blogging back in, I'm gonna say maybe 2014, something like that, maybe like 7 years ago. And the reason I originally started blogging, one is I used to have a gossip blog even before then. And then I kind of left it and just kind of abandoned it when I got bored with it and my life got busy. But like in 2014 or so, I used to run a couple of makeup groups on Facebook. They were like really tight-knit groups, but like thousands of people. And there were a lot of people in these groups who looked like me. And so I would go out and I would like buy makeup in the drugstore after I watched like swatch videos or makeup collection videos on YouTube. And people in these groups would say like, oh, I want to see you swatch it, or, you know, I want to see what it looks like on you since your complexion is kind of like mine. So I basically started a makeup blog just to do like swatches, share what I bought, share my opinions about like beauty products and stuff like that. And then I started my YouTube channel like shortly after that. And that's how I originally started. And then from YouTube, it kind of morphed into, you know, obviously Twitter. Then I built a big following on Snapchat and Instagram. And now I'm kind of revving up Facebook. I'm finally being consistent with content on Facebook. So I'm just trying to maximize basically all the platforms at this point. Okay, so as far as where I am as an influencer, I am a micro influencer, which is anyone that has less than 100,000 followers on any of their platforms. So right now I have like 79, 78K on Instagram, around maybe 7 on Facebook and Twitter, and probably around 20 on YouTube. So yeah, so as far as the business of influencing, basically how I got started with actually getting brand deals and campaigns and collaborations with brands and stuff like that was, I remember the story like specifically a few years ago. Me and some friends of mine, we went to Toronto to help out E.T. the hip hop preacher. So Eric Thomas, he's a huge motivational speaker, and he happens to be our friend. And so he was doing an engagement in Toronto and couldn't bring his whole team. So we said, oh, we'll just come over and we'll help you out for the day. So we helped Eric run his event. Everything was great. And one of my friends, who is now being mentored by Eric, she wants to be a really successful motivational speaker. And she's like, oh, I can envision myself doing this, and the room will be set up just like this. And but she was like, oh, I don't think I don't know if people will come and see me and like hear me speak. And so our mentor, Catherine Roberts, she was with us. And so she does the whole Iyama, pour into you, all that good stuff. We were having like an Oprah moment. And she asked me like, oh, could you see yourself in front of a room like this? And I was like, no. And she was like, oh, why? And I was like, because I'm just, number one, I'm shy. And number two, I'm not at that level. And she was like, oh, well, you're making some money like on social media, you have followers. So why wouldn't people come hear what you say? And I said, oh, because I think you have to have like at least 100,000 or 200,000 followers, like for people to like pay to come hear you speak, or to hear what you have to say. Or you have to have some huge like brand deals or collaborations, like for people to think you're legitimate. And she was like, oh, so you don't think you could do that? And I was like, I'm just not at that level yet. And so she's like, okay, fine, mental note. And so she kind of left it there. I knew it was gonna come back up. And I remember that happened like on a Friday or Saturday. And then the following week, like the next Friday, I got an email from Makeup Forever, and they were like, hey, we love your content, we want to collab with you, do you want to do some stuff with us? And I was like, oh yeah, that's great. Then the following week, like 1 week after that, it was Lancome, and then the next week after that, the same thing with Urban Decay. And that kind of like really catapulted my brand, because those are some of the biggest like makeup brands in existence. And the fact that they were like, watching my content, and wanted to collab with me, I thought that was like amazing. So obviously my mentor came back and was like, oh yeah, remember that mental note, so you have to watch what you speak into existence. But as far as like even outside of like the beautyscape, probably my first really big deal was with Pepsi. Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I think 4 years ago, I did a summer campaign with Pepsi and Six Flags, and it was very lucrative. And then I got the opportunity to work with Pepsi again. I've also done collaborations with Dove, with Pantene, with Instagram to help launch IGTV. And right now I'm working with another social media platform to help launch a new feature that they are rolling out right now. Okay, so in my day job at the Community Action Organization of Western New York, I basically manage a team of people who work every day and like super diligently to meet the needs of low-income families. CAO is the federally designated anti-poverty agency for Western New York, so for Erie and Niagara counties. And on average, we serve about 55,000 individuals and families a year with everything you could think of, just food, clothing, shelter. We run all of the Head Starts and early Head Starts in those 2 counties. We provide in-school and after-school programming, sports programming. We have a drug treatment and research facility. We have community centers, food pantries, we do free taxes, we give away toys, just all types of stuff. Like we do everything that we can basically to wrap our arms around people in low income communities to make sure that all their basic needs are met and they are not left without. My passion basically comes from, for a point in my life, like I was a person living in a low income household. I do know how it feels to not have enough food, to not have like lights at a certain point, or for the gas to be turned off. And those are really like disheartening feelings. Like those are really tough situations to be in. So we work really, really hard just to keep people whole. I originally started out as a pre-K kid. I did attend Bethel pre-K, so full circle. But yeah, I'm just really passionate about what I do. I love helping people. I'm a servant leader. I love helping the community. I love pouring into my staff, my team members. We're really passionate about what we do, and I just love seeing the results of empowering people and helping them move towards self-sufficiency. All right, so yeah, I just graduated Leadership Buffalo class experience. Shout out to LB 2020. We are the longest class ever. Our class actually took 2 years because of the pandemic. But that was an awesome experience, and I feel like really helped me to hone my skills and become like a sharper leader. As far as awards, I think I've won a ton. I'm all very thankful and appreciative for all of them. I probably think that the award that I'm most proud of is being a Business First 40 Under 40 awardee, class of 2014. All right, so what's next for me is I want to continue to grow in both my professional career and, grow my brand as an influencer. Right now, I'm currently working on one of the biggest brand deal that I've ever gotten. So I'm on a 6-month deal with a platform that I cannot mention because I signed an NDA, but I am currently working on the biggest campaign that I've ever received. And that's going great. I'm just working to build my other platforms that I don't utilize that much, like Pinterest. I may have to break down to make a TikTok. I don't want to, but the kids say I have to. And I also want to continue to grow, in my day job, professionally. One day I would like to maybe, either run a nonprofit or consult or use my knowledge to help build up other nonprofits or community actions. So you never know, sky's the limit. Over the course of the pandemic, a lot of social media content, a lot more content was created during that time while we were on lockdown, but a lot of influencers earned a lot of less money. Brands were scaling back, their budgets, weren't as like exorbitant as they usually are. So people had to figure out other ways to make money. Basically during 2020, I did a lot of consulting. So, basically I signed some consulting contracts with some brands and worked with them on the back end for selecting influencers for campaigns, working out the logistics, compensation, deliverables, and all that stuff. So I didn't actually have an income loss in 2020. So when I wanted to apply for my PPP loan, I could not prove a loss of 30%, which is a blessing and a curse, I guess. So I did not get one, but so I think maybe in the long run, influencing is it's only as good as it is right now. So basically, there will come a point where I grow out of it. Like I'm too old. The influencers that are coming out right now are like 12 years old. They're like little kids. And they're like dominating certain platforms. So I feel like once I age out of actually like really creating content, featuring myself, I'd like to just do more content where commercial licensed content. So basically that's where you create content and you sell it to brands. You may or may not be in the content. And I did a lot of that last year as well. And I'd probably just also like to consult. So if you want to keep up with me, you can follow me on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff at Pretty PR Chick, and on YouTube at Pretty PR Chick TV, or just hit up the blog prettyprchick.com. This is Brandi Haynes, also known as Pretty PR Chick, and this is how I came up.
Hello everyone, this is Sam Hill, the Career Change Guru, and this November is Entrepreneur Month. We are going to celebrate and showcase some entrepreneurs from Buffalo to Atlanta. You're going to hear the stories of hair professionals, influencers, entertainers, and lifestyle experts. Now let's get to it. This is how I came up.